a way to harness magic through science.
You don't understand what's at stake. Power doesn't come to those who are born strongest. It comes to those.
The world of Arcane Season 3 moves forward from a place of deep emotional fallout, political instability, and unresolved trauma, building on everything that came before while pushing the story into darker and more complex territory. The fragile balance between Piltover and Zaun has been shattered, not only by open conflict but by years of inequality, grief, and mistrust that can no longer be ignored. The story does not reset or soften its consequences. Instead, it leans into them, showing how every decision made in the past continues to echo through the lives of its characters. From the very beginning, there is a sense that the world is standing at the edge of irreversible change, and no one will emerge untouched. Piltover, once portrayed as a city of progress and order, now feels uncertain and vulnerable. The ideals of innovation and unity are challenged as political leaders struggle to respond to chaos without fully understanding the pain that led to it. Power shifts behind closed doors, alliances are questioned, and the belief that technology alone can solve human suffering is tested. The city's shining towers contrast sharply with the moral uncertainty of those who inhabit them, reinforcing the idea that progress without empathy can be just as destructive as open violence. Piltover's future depends not only on controlling technology, but on confronting the consequences of how it has been used. Zaun, on the other hand, stands at a crossroads between revolution and survival. The Undercity has always been shaped by resilience and desperation, but now it must decide what kind of future it wants to fight for. The loss of key figures and the scars left by past conflicts weigh heavily on its people. Some see rebellion as the only path forward, while others fear that endless violence will only deepen their suffering. This internal division creates tension throughout the story, as Zaun is no longer united by a single vision, but fractured by grief, anger, and competing ideas of freedom. At the emotional core of Arcane Season 3 are characters who are haunted by what they have lost and what they have become. Vi continues to struggle with her identity, torn between her loyalty to Zaun and her complicated ties to Piltover. Her strength remains undeniable, but it is tempered by exhaustion and doubt. The burden of constantly fighting for others has left her questioning whether she can ever find peace in a world built on conflict. Her journey in this chapter is less about physical battles and more about confronting the emotional walls she has built to survive. Jinx's presence looms over the story like a storm that never fully passes. She is no longer just a symbol of chaos, but a deeply broken individual wrestling with guilt, rage, and the fragments of love she still clings to. Season 3 explores the aftermath of her actions, not through constant spectacle, but through quieter moments that reveal how isolation and trauma shape her perception of reality. Her inner world is as dangerous as any weapon, and the line between vulnerability and destruction grows thinner with every choice she makes. The story does not seek to redeem or condemn her outright, but to understand the cost of a life shaped by abandonment and violence. Caitlyn's arc continues to evolve as she navigates leadership, justice, and personal loss. No longer sheltered by her upbringing, she faces the reality that doing the right thing is rarely clear-cut. Her pursuit of order forces her to question whether the systems she once trusted are capable of true fairness. As she steps into greater responsibility, Caitlyn must decide how far she is willing to bend her principles to prevent further bloodshed, and whether compromise is a form of strength or betrayal. Jayce grapples with the weight of being seen as a symbol of progress. Once driven by optimism and ambition, he now carries the knowledge that innovation can destroy as easily as it can create. Season 3 pushes him into difficult moral territory, where every technological advancement risks becoming another weapon. His struggle is not just about leadership, but about accountability, as he confronts the unintended consequences of his dreams and the lives affected by them. The narrative introduces new figures who challenge existing power structures and bring fresh perspectives into the conflict. These characters are not simple heroes or villains. They are shaped by the same broken world as everyone else. Some seek to exploit chaos for personal gain, while others genuinely believe they can reshape society for the better. Their presence complicates the story, ensuring that no single solution feels complete or safe. Every new alliance carries risk, and every betrayal feels personal. Action in Arcane Season 3 remains intense, but it is more deliberate and emotionally charged. Fights are not just displays of skill or power. They are expressions of grief, desperation, and conviction. Each confrontation reveals something about the characters involved, whether it is their fear of loss or their refusal to back down. The animation continues to elevate these moments, blending raw physicality with expressive visuals that make every blow feel meaningful. Themes of legacy and responsibility run deeply through the season. Characters are forced to confront how their actions shape the world others must live in. Parents, mentors, and leaders leave behind more than memories. They leave systems, weapons, and ideologies that can either protect or destroy. The story questions whether it is possible to break cycles of violence or if history inevitably repeats itself in new forms. As the plot unfolds, moments of quiet reflection provide balance to the chaos. Characters remember who they were before the world hardened them, holding on to small pieces of humanity in fleeting moments of connection. These scenes are essential, reminding the audience that even in a story filled with conflict and tragedy, hope still exists, fragile but persistent. The pacing of Arcane Season 3 allows the story to breathe, building tension gradually rather than relying on constant escalation. Political intrigue, personal drama, and large-scale conflict intertwine seamlessly, creating a narrative that feels both expansive and intimate. Every subplot feeds into the larger story, reinforcing the idea that individual choices can alter the course of entire cities. As the season moves toward its later stages, the consequences of earlier decisions become unavoidable. Plans unravel, truths are exposed, and characters are forced into confrontations they can no longer delay. The line between enemy and ally blurs, and survival often depends on uneasy cooperation. These moments test not only physical strength but emotional resilience, as characters must decide what they are willing to sacrifice for the future they believe in. The resolution of Arcane Season 3 does not offer simple answers. Instead, it presents outcomes that feel earned, shaped by compromise, loss, and hard-won understanding. Some conflicts find closure while others remain unresolved, reflecting the reality that healing is not a single moment, but a long and uncertain process. The ending leaves space for reflection, emphasizing that change is possible, but never without cost. Arcane Season 3 stands as a continuation that deepens the series' exploration of power, trauma, and identity. It respects the intelligence of its audience by refusing to simplify its characters or themes. Through striking visuals, complex relationships, and emotionally grounded storytelling, it reinforces why this world continues to resonate so strongly. The story ultimately reminds us that progress is not measured only by invention or victory, but by the ability to confront pain, choose empathy, and imagine a future beyond endless conflict.